Welcome back to RollPlay Masks One Shot, everybody. Tyrannosaurus time. So, the situation, the first page of the second thrilling issue is, I think, Hemlock in perilous danger. Right, the cover is probably Hemlock looking like costume kind of torn, like down on the ground, like hands up, looking a little frightened, with the shadows of lizard men, kind of like spiky teeth, kind of like bearing down on her. And on the first page, we see this closing ring of blue and green scaled monstrosities charging in towards Hemlock. And as they crest the hill of debris and leap for their prey, what happens? I think Petra, you wanted to do something.
Yeah, I see this happen, and I see everybody charging for Hemlock, and it's right after I've just encouraged her, so I feel directly responsible.
Yeah.
For this. So immediately, I call upon the ground, like literally all of the concrete, to break apart into massive slabs, like 15 feet tall or whatever. I just break everything up. The road just dissipates, and these huge slabs just start building walls around her to protect her, and I just block it all off, and all of the lizards just sort of slap their faces against it as they run charging.
We're gonna pay for this later, man. Tax dollars.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, yeah. So the highway and the ground and everything like suddenly like rip, and these walls of stone just suddenly like fly up. The lizardmen, the reptiloids bounce off of the wall and are kind of stunned around it. And Hemlock, I hope you're not claustrophobic because you're like in this bubble of concrete. And I think there's probably like sewer pipes sticking out of it and like water spraying out of the ground now.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, totally fine. Outside, Lex, you see a what looks like a news reporter or something. He's got a big camera on his shoulder, and he's trying to like film the chaos, and behind him you see a couple of these lizard men, and they're like stalking up behind him, kind of crouched down, ready to jump on him. What do you want to do? You can also see Riley like wheeling because the two of you have just finished, and Riley's like wheeled the Tyrannosaurus around.
All right, so I noticed him. I know there's some time before I have to save him. So I look past him to the reptiloids while I talk to him, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, your news station, is it on any of these billboards?"
And he turns and looks. Where? So you're sitting. Where are you right now?
I'm just on top of a roof that's kind of like overlooking everything.
Okay,
it's like a little nerd perch going on.
Sure. Let's say you're sitting on top of like a food truck or something, because this is kind of like a dense like urban area, and the roofs would be like several stories up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting on top of like a taco truck or something, and this guy is like trying to get the shot, and he hears you, and he turns around and looks up at you, and he like swings the camera around. And we see the next panel is like got the little video overlay, like Channel 5, Halcyon News. And it's just you like sitting there with your laptop. And he totally didn't listen to anything you said. He was just like, ooh, superhero. And then like looking at you.
I don't know if you'd be able to tell that I'm a superhero right now. Just because I'm
like a weird person sitting on top of the truck. Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you connect to superhero, I guess that's fair enough.
You're one of the only people here not panicking. So
yeah, that's true. Okay, I repeat again. I'm like, buddy, like seriously, one of these billboards, like this you?
Why don't you both by like hassling him and by like getting a look around the situation, why don't you assess the situation?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because he'll give you an opportunity for that. So you're gonna roll plus superior.
Yeah, that's pretty much my character. So I also have an ability that plays off of it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it went through. No bonuses. Didn't matter.
Okay, cool. Did you take is Criminal Mind the one that you're thinking of?
Let me just verify that is what I'm thinking of. Yep, Criminal Mind.
Okay, all right. So normally with assess the situation, you can ask. You got, what did you roll? You got a 12. You're great. Yeah. Okay, so you get you can ask me two questions. You can ask, what here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly? And those are questions that anybody can ask if they roll assess the situation. And then because of Criminal Mind, you can ask, what here is useful or valuable to me? How could I best infuriate or provoke blank, like a particular person? And what's the best way in or the best way past? So what are the two questions you want to ask?
Do I have to choose one from assess the situation and one from criminal mind?
No, it's just your list is longer than everyone else.
Oh, okay. So I want to ask then, who here is most vulnerable to me?
Mhm.
Or like what here? I guess I can't combine those two. And then, who here is most vulnerable to me? And then the second one is I do want to do this other one. How can I best infuriate or provoke? So more focusing on provoke for the crowd of reptilians. And then the other one is what's the best way in / past, referring to getting them to all see me at once.
Sure. Okay. So the best way to provoke the reptiloids, and so these things are not, I think they're not new to Halcyon City. It was discovered fairly recently that a colony of reptiloids lives under the city in the caves deep below the city, and like the mayor and stuff, they've had some diplomatic missions to the reptiloid caverns. They're working on some peace treaty with the reptiloids, but there's a faction of reptiloids that will have none of it, and they hate these hairless apes and want to see them destroyed. So these are probably separatist reptiloids come up to mess things up. You watched you saw something on like the internet equivalent of the Discovery Channel not that long ago about how reptiloids have like a very distinct caste system, and they operate off of like pheromones, like scents. So if you could replicate like the queen or king reptiloid smell, you could convince them all to pay attention to you, or basically control their emotions. That would be your vector for that power.
So there's no way for me to get on like a large screen in the city and talk to them that way?
So the other question, so that, I mean, obviously that was what you were looking for originally, is like something that's like valuable to you. Yeah, I mean, there's big like big TV screens on a bunch of the buildings. They're running ads right now, and the news guy, who is the whole reason that you made this role in the first place, and the news guy has like a transponder on his camera that if you just took it from him and plugged it into your laptop, you could pretty much broadcast whatever you want.
Okay. Okay. So when I find out the thing about the scent, I let Petra know, Petra, you do like a lot of like really crazy stuff, right? Do you think you can smell like one of these queens?
Queens, I can try.
Can you smell like a lizard?
Well, wouldn't I be able to do that of like with all of my like organic being able to like pull together the energy? Like I would be able to do that, right?
Yeah, right from the underground maybe.
Yeah.
Well, your abilities are energy absorption and supernatural senses. So you can certainly, like, you can smell the lizard pheromones.
I could absorb that though, right? Like I could absorb.
Well, it's not energy. Energy absorption is like absorbing like light or heat or kinetic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Okay. So you don't think you can do that, Hemlock?
I don't.
It doesn't sound like she can.
I don't think I can. No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of outside of the purview of just about everybody but your powers, Lex. Like you could probably whip together some kind of gadget, like a spray, an aerosol spray or something. But
okay, I'm gonna try and do 2 things at once then. So actually 3 things at once. First,
Sure.
I tell the reporter, I'm like, all right, like come here with me, and I grab him and I pull him off the taco bus, and I tell Riley, I'm like, here, like fire, like blow this bus. And then I, with his camera still on me, I want to try and at least talk to the reptiloids or whatever. So I really quickly just like take off my normal garb and go all superhero. And I'm like,
oh shit,
oh
It's
shit,
real.
happening.
can't like get this out over my gloves though. And so I'm like, stop, like your queen is up here above us. I'm in communication with her, and she wants all of you to stop right now. You're making a huge decision. There's still hope for you yet, but you all need to stop right now. And then I get to work. And so I
Okay.
want to try and manipulate them. Well, I'm deceiving them.
okay. Yeah, sure. And it actually sounds like this is a good setup for your divine whatever, your get everybody's attention and make them worship you power.
Yep, I have that one. How did you know?
So why don't you roll, and now you've got a specific delinquent move for this, right? Like the are you watching closely one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Go ahead and roll plus superior. And we'll see how lizards respond. Okay.
Good
All right.
enough.
So you got to choose two of these four things. So they're fooled, at least for a moment. You've created this opportunity, but you get to choose. You get an opportunity. It sounds pretty. You expose a weakness or flaw. You confuse them for some time, or you avoid further entanglement. So pick two of those.
I want to confuse them for some time so that I have more time to create this gadget.
Mhm.
And then while we're waiting, I want to expose a weakness or a flaw so that my team can start capitalizing on that.
Okay. All right. So the lizard. So you're still up on the truck, or did you get down from it? Did you
I
pull the
jumped off
reporter
it.
up? Okay. So you and the
No, yeah,
reporter
I
are
grabbed
outside.
the reporter. Yeah, we're like getting away from those guys that were about to attack him.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you're running with him, and you get their attention. And because you didn't choose, you avoid further entanglement. They're now paying attention to you. They've tried to like scratch through the wall that's protecting Hemlock, but turned away because there's an easier target. And now they're heading after you. But you've exposed this weakness in that. Yeah, they're all acting like pretty much together. They don't have their leader. He got thrown into a car. So they're pretty easy to manipulate, but they're all still kind of frenzied. So that'll be a weakness you might be able to take advantage of. But before that happens, as you're fleeing the reptiloids, Riley, what do you want to do? You have control over your new pet. What's the plan?
I want to go after the like crowd of reptilian dudes who are going after Lex now. So I wanted to ask you about this other move that I have that's there when it matters for Savior.
Yep.
So it just is like, it says on a hit you can hold one instead of choosing one from the list. So, but hold one what?
So the way that this move works is you first have to roll to defend someone, and then you basically bank one of your points instead of spending it now. So you would bank it so that later you can just pop up in a scene and be like, "I'm here to save you."
Okay. I don't know if that necessarily is going to help me in this situation. So
Sure.
I'm going to go after and like, I want to like control this T-Rex via the levers on the top to like swing its tail to like sweep the reptiloids.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So in this case, you're not actually really trying to like protect Lex. You're just trying to mess up the reptiloids. So yeah, you're directly engaging a threat. So go ahead and roll plus danger.
Cool. Oh, where'd that go?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So on the 10 plus, pick two. Do you resist or avoid their blows? Do you take something from them? Do you create an opportunity for your allies, or do you impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition?
What could I take from them?
You could take the like control of the area, because right now they're just running around scaring people off, and like they're kind of like in control of the situation.
Yeah.
So you could take that. You could seize control of the moment. Yeah, I would say that's probably all they really have a grip on right now.
Okay. And then, or I could just like terrify them.
Yeah, impress, surprise, or frighten them.
Okay. We'll go with frighten.
Okay. And then you get one other one.
Okay. Is there somewhere that I can be looking at these? Because I'm trying to remember all the things you're saying.
Sure. Yeah, they're in Roll20. Under the area with characters, there's a section called Handouts.
Okay.
This one is called Basic Moves Reference.
Cool.
So you can pop that open, and you're looking at directly engage a threat. It's the first one.
Okay. So I want to frighten the opposition, and then I want to create an opportunity for my allies.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you charge forward with this laser mounted Tyrannosaurus. And what do you look like? Is this like a stern, like quiet moment for you, or are you just like waving your cowboy hat over your head, shrieking?
Oh yeah,
excitedly?
it's like rodeo bunking bronco, only it's a T-Rex instead of a bull.
Okay, yeah. So you barrel in. You're like knocking these lizardmen around. The reptiloids go flying like a bunch of bowling pins. And at the end of the assault, the T-Rex kind of like rears up and roars, and we get the like really impressive kind of backlit shot of the T-Rex's mighty jaws roaring as they scatter. Now, because you didn't choose to resist or avoid their blows, I think we see the next panel. We get like lots of like motion lines as the last of the pterodactyl riders is coming bombing down towards you, spear out and ready to strike. And Petra, you see this happening. What are you gonna do?
So I'm still kind of like also paying attention to the fact that Lex also, basically became a target, and that all these guys are scrambling towards all three of my friends. This is really not okay. I'm not okay with the situation. I'm already angry. So I think I want to just attack the swarm, but I need a way of doing that. So I think I'm going to overcharge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's going to cost both of the burn that I have left.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a +10 when I unleash my powers.
Okay.
So how that looks is basically I take every little bit of matter that's around us. So not the big slabs that were surrounding Hemlock, but all the local cars and street lamps just kind of lift up off of the ground, and they all start immediately floating fastly above all of these lizards, and then I want to just drop them all at once on all the lizards.
Okay. All right. So normally you'd roll to unleash your power, but because you're overcharging, you get a 10 plus automatically. You don't have to roll plus freak. So yeah, you reshape your environment and lift all these cars and just drop them on all those men. The bubble dome of stone that was covering Hemlock, that sort of crumbles away. And so Hemlock, you see now just rubble everywhere. It's just ruined. The whole plaza, and you've been here with your mom a bunch of times before. There's this beautiful marble fountain that's just totally ruined now. There's lizard people lying all over the place. The whole scene is chaos, but it's quiet, right? Cars are smoldering and stuff. But it seems like Petra has knocked out the remaining lizard people.
And I'm kind of standing in the middle of the square. I'm around no rubble at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of clenching my fists and trying to control my breathing, trying to control my anger, and it's just not working out.
Mm-hmm. And Lex, the guy that you were pulling, the cameraman, he's stopped. You can keep trying to drag him, but he's stopped and he's turned around. But you notice he's not pointing the camera at Petra or at Riley or Hemlock. He's pointing it up. And you notice that all the people around who realize the danger's kind of over are all staring up in the air too at something.
Oh God, what?
So I think Lex, you were focused on your task. You noticed this. Do you look up to see what it is, or are you still no, we got shit to do?
Oh, Kaitlyn, you're muted.
I mean, I get it on my feed, basically. So you see it through my laptop screen. It's all on my feed. Okay,
cool. So the next panel is a full page, and it's highly, because we're looking up at this guy. This guy's a bright blue, and we're kind of looking up at the sun. So there's a big fake lens flare photoshopped in there. And we can see approaching from above with the sun behind them, this figure. It's a person. It's a guy. We can see his cape fluttering behind him, and he's kind of floating down. And in the next panel, this person is sitting down. He's wearing a gold and crimson a bodysuit. He's got a long crimson cape. He's got a perfect tan and exactly even big white teeth and a swoopy blonde hairdo. And this guy is
him already.
He's settling down.
Just a tan.
He's settling down in the middle of all the chaos. And in this next panel, everybody's running over to him, and they're all saying Scion, Scion. And he's putting his hand up it's all right, citizens. Everything's under control now.
I think though, in the next panel through my laptop, you see that it there's a quick zoom effect, and there's people's feet running, but you don't know what to. And I'm also telling the guy no, back on Hemlock. What are you doing with your camera? Back on Hemlock.
Yeah. And the guy kind of does that. He puts his hand on your face, and he's out of the way, kid. I got news to report, and is pushing you away from him so he can run over. And
can I be crawling out of the thing and just yeah, so you trapped me underneath this wall for 15 minutes. I'm covered in sewage pipe leak, whatever that is. I'm burnt up. My shirt's torn. Like, I'm gonna get so much trouble for this.
But you are unharmed. Okay, you're unharmed, and that's what matters.
So then, like, I don't notice that like this guy is like behind me. So we're kind of like all like Lex is like focused on trying to get the attention off of this like D-bag who just like landed, and the three of us like Petra and Riley are like just kind of bickering amongst ourselves, like
Still riding the T-Rex. So.
Riley, I told
we're just like
first into battle. We talked about this.
we don't even like
It
we don't even
worked out.
notice this guy. We're just like kind of like bickering like amongst ourselves, like this is like what's going on, like what.
It
Yeah.
barely worked
The
out.
heck,
We just
man.
caused so much damage. This wasn't my fault. I was trying to protect you guys.
Yeah.
If you just do what I say, come on.
Who's paying for this shirt? I'm pissed.
I got this shirt at Old Navy.
God dang it.
If we
So-
used our powers for crime like I wanted to.
I
So-
mean, you said we can't do anything illegal, but can we have like offshore accounts that like we use for advances?
No, my parents are my mom is banked. We're good. We have funding.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm the
Yeah,
spoiled
so
one.
everybody, all the survivors, including basically everyone in the crowd except this one kid. And this kid is wearing like a little T-shirt with like a stegosaurus on it, with the stegosaurus holding a balloon. That kid is staring at you guys having an argument, and literally everyone else, including like the cops and like the firefighters, have all just like clustered around this other dude who is like shaking. He's holding someone's baby now, and like it's like shaking people's hands, and is like, there, everything's under control. You're gonna be just fine. And he like looking around, and the cameras are all on him. And
Okay, so when I stop getting mad at the others, I notice this happening, and I notice him with the baby.
yeah.
And do we recognize him, right? We know.
Oh
this
yeah,
is-
everybody knows who this guy is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the Scion. He's the Scion of Halcyon City. He's like basically everybody's favorite superhero. He's saved the city numerous times. He's belonged to every significant superhero team in this city and abroad. He spent several years in Europe being a superhero over there as part of a goodwill program. He has his own like PR. You actually see her in the crowd. She's right next to him. Her name
What,
is
so
her name's
like-
Laura McKinnon, and she's like got her little earpiece in, and she's like taking notes and like talking to the press and stuff for him while everybody takes pictures. And
so this guy does superheroes without borders, is what you're
he's,
saying.
yeah, he's a great guy. Everyone loves him. He's the
Yeah.
best.
Didn't do anything though.
That's
So-
not what he's saying. I mean,
Well,
he's not actively being like, good thing I saved you, but he's like, never fear, the Scion is here.
Can I use
I've got
like
the situation under control.
can I use like my supernatural abilities to like figure out how we can divert the people's attention to like, because it's like it's a two-sided coin, right? We don't want to take responsibility for all the damage, but at the same time
I don't.
I think we ride the T-Rex into the sunset. Is
yeah,
we just get out.
we just leave. I don't actually, that's probably a better idea.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to emotional control the guy, but maybe like I feel a light tap on my back that like knocks me over, and it's the T-Rex tail. So then I just give up the fight, and I'm like, I know what you saw.
So why don't I mean, it sounds like Hemlock is trying to assess the situation. So why don't we have you roll for that?
Okay.
You're gonna roll plus your superior. Nice.
I did good. I did.
Okay.
I'm too
Well,
emotionally like
Mark-
shaken up by what happened.
Mark your potential. So you get that. You get to mark potential.
Okay.
And yeah, I think what happens is you're looking around, and I think what we see is we've got a panel where, you know, it's obvious you're like focusing on the situation, looking around, and there's a car off to one side that during the big explosion got thrown, and there's actually someone, there's a woman pinned underneath it, and she like manages to pull free just as you notice her, and shouts for help. And we see the next panel, there's a sudden kind of like change in the look on the Scion's face. He like looks up and he puts his hand out to the press, and like because he puts his hand up, everyone like goes quiet and stops asking you questions and taking pictures, and he's like, "Excuse me, citizens," and like floats towards this woman, and so everybody like parts, and you watch him like float over, and now the pictures start going again, and he reaches out with one hand and just like lifts the car up off of her, and she crawls out from underneath. And she's like gets up and throws herself on him, and he like hugs her, and he's like there and like pats her back, and he turns and he sees, as if for the first time, despite the fact that you're riding a Tyrannosaurus, he like sees you for the first time and kind of quirks an eyebrow, and he looks up at you, Riley, and he says, he's like, "All right, little lady, you've had your fun. Time to come down from there." And he like puts his hand up like, "I'll help you."
She's gonna punch him in the face. Oh, Riley, please don't punch him. Riley.
I don't think so. Also, nice cape, nerd.
Nice tights, Peter Pan.
Yeah, so you say like nice cape, nerd, and he puts his hand on his chest and he takes it inside. Like he laughs, he flashes the big white teeth. The sun reflects off them perfectly. You know, every side is his good side. So there's a bunch of great photos of him laughing. And you notice, however, his PR person, his agent, just like shooting daggers at you over her very expensive sunglasses. And he says, he looks at one of the reporters directly and he's like, "Kids today, they don't appreciate the classics." And then as if from nowhere, a gentle breeze blows his cape behind him and it flutters in the wind. And everybody laughs as if he's just said something really profound. And he looks over at you and he says, "Don't you need a license for those things? All right, playtime's over." And like gives you the more stern dad face, like, "All right, now I'm not messing around."
Oh God.
Am I done my little gadget?
Yeah. So what were you doing during this time, Lex? Because no one's really paying attention to you.
I was still trying to make a gadget full of like lizard hormones, pheromones.
Yeah. Let's roll to see how that goes.
Mate with him.
Roll to unleash your powers. You can roll plus freak.
I hope they all try to mate with him.
So they're all the reptiloids are unconscious, but this probably would work on the T-Rex too. All right, how do we do?
Is there any way I can get a +1?
Uh-oh. So here's the thing. If someone who has influence over you would be willing to like find a way to point out what a freak you are, they could do that.
I mean, I'll do it.
Everyone has influence.
Look at her. She's like sitting on top of a taco truck, unharmed, using a freaking laptop, making pheromones.
And I mean, this is the thing, right? So Hemlock, if you want to expend your influence, I mean, it's kind of a harsh thing to do, though, right? Like, you can't. There's no really nice way to be like, "Yeah, cool, thanks for helping, freak." Like, it'll kind of have to be mean. Is that something that Hemlock is willing to do?
I feel like that's out of character.
It's pretty out of character.
I feel like Hemlock wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't bully her.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that I can do it to like?
Can I do it?
Oh yeah, Riley could do it.
You're a little tied up right now, Riley.
Okay. Well, because he's talking to me, so couldn't I respond to him being like, he's like telling me to get down off the T-Rex, and I am a 17-year-old in control of a T-Rex, so like, why would I get down?
Well, so what's happening here, though, this roll is about whether or not Lex was able to make a reptiloid attraction device. So I think you might be on your own with this one, Lex. I think this might just be a no-go.
All right, so I like try to casually walk by him and like drop this pheromone all over him or spray him, and then I guess it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, here's what happens. It's less your implementation of it that's the problem, and more the trying to put it together. So what happens? You're fiddling with it. You're trying to make this like it's like a hairspray can and like some other stuff. You know, a little screwdriver in there, and you're off to the side when this is happening, and you get a little too much torque on the screwdriver and you pop something and it just like sprays aerosol all over the place and like all over you. And interrupting this conversation between Riley and the Scion, suddenly the Tyrannosaurus like lifts its head and like sniffs the air and turns to see Lex, who's now covered in the Tyrannosaurus equivalent of Axe body spray. And it's this like low growl, and it like turns completely. And even though you're pulling on the reins, it doesn't seem to respond.
Alt F4, Riley. Alt F4.
Yeah, it starts stalking towards Lex. It's Tyrannosaurus drool dripping from its jaws.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Riley?
Oh God. So I'm trying to like maintain control of the T-Rex, and I'm just like realizing that I'm fighting a losing battle, and I'm just like Lex, like in more panicked tones, you know, like I don't know what's happening.
Right, and it's like getting faster and faster, like we're
Right.
starting to move towards Lex more quickly.
All right, there's a gigantic capacitor in that system. So if you just like go under the board again and then rip it out, be really careful, and then just discharge it into its back. I mean, it might stun it briefly. It might make it more whatever. Just do it. Just grab it.
You hear a lot of nerd babble.
I know, I'm like panicking, and she's just like saying all these words that I don't like really care about or understand. So I just like rip parts of the panel up, like off of the back of the
Punch the panel.
yeah, so I
Just
just
pulling
like
wires.
shredding. I'm just like pulling all the wires out and just like throwing pieces everywhere, like trying desperately to do something, like anything.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think you disassemble the control device for the harness. And bits and pieces are falling off. But it doesn't affect the T-Rex's natural curiosity about this sudden burst of pheromones. And people are like getting all like excited again and frightened. And I think you see the Scion, like he crouches down to get ready to fly and like to fly over and help. And his agent just puts her hand on his shoulder and just like her head's like, no, let them deal.
Petra, you can move bullets, right? Or is that Hemlock? No, that's Hemlock. Hemlock, you can move bullets, right?
Yeah.
Can you move rockets?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I
Shoot me.
Can I see if I like assess the situation?
I don't think you have time.
I don't
really.
have time. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can shoot, then I can deflect it and try to hit it back at the T-Rex. Like if she launches them, I can try to like curb it and make it go back.
Yeah, so here's the situation, right? Like Riley has broken off the weapons platform, but is not in control of the T-Rex. The T-Rex is about to, like, basically it runs over and it goes to like take a bite out of Lex. Its jaws are coming plunging towards her. Someone can take like a decisive sudden action, but it can't be like look
Can I
around.
just like spark the rockets or the lasers that it has in the pack and make them like explode in there, like attached to the T-Rex?
Your powers allow you to absorb existing energy, not make it worse. You're the
I can't
absorber.
like deflect it.
No, yeah, just pull it into yourself and make it go away.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, you could let it bite you instead. That's a
All right.
thing.
I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, save her. I'm gonna save you. Oh, I have that. I'm gonna save her.
Do you say I'll save you as you run over?
I'm more pissed about it because I've already been trapped under concrete, attacked by lizardmen, deflected doors, and goddamn it, now I have to get freaking sacrifice myself for a T-Rex. If y'all would not do this shit, I wouldn't be here right now. But I need to save her because I can handle it and she can't.
Just think about how many views we're getting, Hemlock.
All right.
We better have
So,
ads turned on our YouTube channel.
You can reveal your secret identity to someone watching, or mark a condition to defend a loved one as if you rolled a 12+. I think in this case it makes more sense to mark a condition.
Okay.
So does this action make you afraid, angry, guilty, hopeless, or insecure?
If it makes me, there's like ramifications that happen between each one, correct?
Yeah.
Like,
So
I have to
each one gives you a -2 to a particular kind of roll and would be cleared by a particular thing.
So if I roll hopeless, right? Because I'm pretty, at this point, I would imagine I'm not looking forward to this, but if I don't do it, she's gonna like, we're screwed either way, right? So what's the condition if I pick hopeless?
So for hopeless, you'll get a -2 to unleash your powers until you, during a scene, fling yourself into easy relief. So find something like comforting and mundane to do to like clear your head of your hopelessness, to regain your hope.
Oh, I can do that. I'm super mundane. I'm covered. I'm gonna go hopeless.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you what does it look like? You basically, what happens here is like the full, you can absorb the full force of the Tyrannosaurus bite. You just stand there and it'll bite you, and all of that kinetic energy will just absorb into you.
Yeah.
What does that look like when you
so I kind of like run over and knock her out of the way, and it's just like in a movie where like the T-Rex just comes down and there's like me and his like face just right down, and then all of that like energy, all of a sudden you just like I just am gonna push out, and then his just like jaw just like snaps in half and just like rips out of his face, and I'm like, when it like comes apart, like I'm 110% done. Like I'm out. I'm done. Okay. This is the end of the day.
Are we both covered in blood?
So hold on.
No,
so
because you were
let's
like
see.
knocked out.
So here's the sort of the scene, right? Is that there's the panel of Lex with the Tyrannosaurus' shadow as the thing's head comes barreling down towards it. There's Hemlock leaping in the way, pushing you out of the way, Lex, and then the jaws like closing shut.
Yeah.
And then we see you like pushing your way free, right, and like standing in its mouth as you open its jaws.
Yeah.
And if you want to try to like kill it, basically like break its jaw.
Yeah.
You're unleashing your powers. So roll plus freak.
Don't kill Reggie. We're friends.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Mark potential.
Is there any way I can help her with that?
You can't drag it up to a 7 from a 2. That's too far to go. So yeah, mark potential. But I get to make a move. So I think what happens here is you don't get to unleash your powers, right? Because you were just told like keep it under control. Don't let your emotions get ahead of you. Petra believes in you. You have a moment where you think about what Petra said about like, like go the extra mile, but don't let it get out of your control, and that holds you back. I think so. You don't hurt the thing. And so what happens is, it snaps the jaws down on you. You push the jaws open, and instead of having the strength to take it that extra step and hurt the thing, it shakes you free, throws Riley off of its back, and roars loudly to the sky. It's all enraged now because you like stopped it from getting at something it was really interested in. And then out of nowhere, there's a blinding flash of like sunlight as the T-Rex is knocked over on its side, and Scion, like a comet from the sun, slams into it, knocks it over, and you see him lift the T-Rex over his head and throw it back into the museum. So it goes like flying, smashes through the front door, and he turns around, and he looks like absolutely perfect except for one like lock of like golden blonde hair that's like fallen in front of his face, and he kind of like flips it out of the way, looks right at the camera, and he's like back where you belong with the other fossils. And like looks up in the air, and everybody starts clapping and cheering.
You just knocked me on the ground. I was on top of that.
Yeah, you're literally lying on the ground nearby.
Yeah, fell over.
I think she's got a new enemy.
In the background, like with my arms crossed, like patting. Just like rolled me over.
I'm like slinking away. I'm like putting my mask on so that no one recognizes me, even though that's like more defining. I'm just like slinking back to my corner.
Can I fix my like mundaneness by like running over to Riley and like trying to like make sure she's okay, and like
she's gotta hold me back,
picking her up and like kind of like comforting her, being like, just he's a jerk, like let it go, like the T-Rex is done, like let's just leave it.
So to clear hopeless, you actually need to do something kind of like more selfish, less about protecting everybody else, because that's all you do all the time. This needs to be like, you're like, you know what, forget this, and you leave, and you like, I don't know, go shopping or like go to McDonald's. You're just like, fuck this. Like it's about easy relief. It's about doing
Big
something.
Mac time.
Yeah, right? Like it's me time now. I'm gonna go, I was gonna say have a mimosa, but you're not old enough for that. It's just like shirking your responsibility, right? It's being self-focused for a while.
So when I see Riley fall to the ground, I also run over. So I guess I kind of see both Hemlock and Riley right in front of me. I see Lex in the distance slinking off. I'm like, okay, at least she's out of danger. And I put my hand out to grab hold of Riley and pick her up. Mm-hmm. And then as I pull her up, I'm like gritting my teeth. I'm trying not to be angry because us just yelling did not help anything. And so I'm just kind of like, you did really good trying to bring down the Rex. Hemlock, are you okay?
I'm 110% done with all of y'all right now. Like, I can't fix things. I can't, when I'm trying, it doesn't work. Like, I save one person and then it gets me in trouble, and then you come in and save me. Like, I'm just 100%.
You did great. You did absolutely awesome. You look at how much you were able to achieve. You almost broke apart that T-Rex. I know.
Almost.
Get the
And
whole
then-
way.
And then Flashy Magoo over here with his like Invisalign smile had to come in and freaking save the day. Like, this is BS, man.
So
Like,
while
I'm outta
you're
here.
saying that, Scion floats up to the group of you, and he's in the middle of a conversation, right, with all the cameras, and he's like, now let's not forget the contribution of our youngest members of the superhero community, and he like kind of floats over to you, Hemlock, and he like puts his arm around you, and the cameras all like fall on the two of you, and suddenly there's like everybody looking at you, and you think like maybe your hood is slipping off, and you suddenly feel like very tense, and and he says let's not forget who the real saviors are, and he's gonna use his influence. Now he's saying one thing, but what he's really kind of like implying to the crowd is that like, yeah, I'm in charge. I've got shit under control. Y'all are a bunch of dangerous freaks, and we need to like shepherd you into better behavior.
Am I able to interrupt him?
So he's using influence. Now you can choose, and you can tell me what this looks like, but he has influence over you because he's an adult and you're not. He's telling you who you are. He's telling you how the world works, right? Like, you're a bunch of dangerous teens and you need mentorship from big cool guys like Scion. And I want to adjust your labels accordingly.
Okay.
I want to increase your freak and reduce your. Actually, I want to reduce your mundane, and I want to increase your freak. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be like, they're not normal people. They're dangerous teenagers.
Just to Hemlock, or for all three of us?
That's Hemlock particularly.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If somebody wants to like confront him or
I
get
wanted
on the
to.
camera.
Yeah, I wanted to actually get in the way of that.
But we gotta find out. Hold on, first we gotta find out. Do you accept that change to your labels, Hemlock? Do you believe in what he says, or do you want to try to reject his influence?
I would like to try to reject it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
F the man.
So to reject someone's influence, you're gonna roll, and you're not rolling with any of your stats in particular. There's a flat 2d6.
Yep.
And on a 10 plus, you get to choose two. Okay, you got a 7 and 9, so you get one of these things.
Okay.
All right, so you can clear a condition that you have, or you can mark potential if you immediately act to prove him wrong, right? If you prove that you're not just a dangerous, untrained bunch of freaks. That's up to you to figure out how you would do that. But if you can do that, you could clear one of your conditions, like hopeless, or you can mark potential, or you can shift one label up and one down, your choice instead. Same thing. You have to like make a statement or do something, and then you get to choose the label shift. Or you can cancel his influence over you and take +1 forward next time you have to roll to do something with him, like see through the mask, or if you want to fight him later or whatever.
Can is it possible to, like, is the little boy that I saved earlier, is there a way to get him to kind of like testify on my behalf to say like, she saved me, I saw her do this? Is there a way for me to like,
what would that look like from Hemlock's perspective, right? Like, you see that kid, he's just been staring at you the whole time, like wide-eyed.
Like, I can kind of like call him out, and I can say like, no, we know what we're doing. Like, I saved him earlier. He'll tell you that I knew what I was doing. I had it under control. And I like kind of like motion to the kid, and I'm like tell them that I saved you.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to, do you want to clear the condition or mark potential, or do you want to?
I want to clear what he just did. Like, I want to.
Yeah, you'll get that no matter what.
Oh yeah.
You're ignoring. You're able to reject his influence, but
okay.
on the 7 and 9, you get to clear one of your conditions, mark potential, or you can do a label shift of your own choice.
Oh, I want to clear being hopeless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So he stands smiling at the camera as this kid comes over, and he nods and he's like, yeah. He's like, she's right. She saved me, her and her friends, even the scary one. And he like points at Riley. They were amazing. And just like a little kid, he just starts spouting like the whole story. And then they were fighting the lizards, and the lizards climbed up the big lizard, and there's lasers.
I'm gonna pick
There's
him
a
up while he's
flying-
talking to get his star points. He's like sitting on my hip, like a little kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scion, like if he's, I don't know, he's kind of stone faced. If somebody else is paying attention to him, they could be, but yeah, he's impossible to tell past his like bronzer tan what's going on in there.
It's too much Botox.
So
happens.
are all the news cameras on Hemlock right now?
Yeah, the two of them. Everyone's paying attention to the two.
How does that make you feel, Hemlock?
Yeah.
I mean, nervous as hell. Like, with my mom recognizes me. Like, all I have on is this hood, right?
Right.
Like, I don't want people to like really pay attention to me, but I also don't want him to think that we're a joke, right? Like, it's torn, right? I'm nervous. Like, I'm proud of our team. Like, I'm proud that we are able to like convince him that we did something good. But at the same time, there's cameras on me. That's like the first time we've been put out in the media that like up close and personal. And like now I'm kind of like the face of like our group on accident because this guy came like put his arm around me, and I'm having to prove us who we are. But there's also a huge risk that someone can figure out who I am.
So if I can, I want to kind of like how I mentioned earlier, how I can actually make I can make light almost like diffract, and I can make it sort of vibrate, so it almost looks like a golden shimmer. I put like a golden shimmer all around her and the kid as the cameras are on them, because I kind of want to highlight them. So I just silently do that behind the scenes.
Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah. I don't think you have to.
It's very small, so.
Yeah. You know what? No, you do. You're unleashing your powers. It's
Okay.
not in a big way, but it
Oh
might.
Lord, Petra.
Yeah.
No more
So
cars.
I just want you to be highlighted nicely. I want you to feel good about being on camera and feel like you can embrace this superhero side of you that you're so afraid of showing everyone. So I'm trying to get you to embrace it. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Roll
I
plus
just,
freak.
Roll plus freak. Boop. Boop.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to need to mark a condition. Now you're going to clear angry at the end of this because you did wreck something important, the whole everything. So what do you take instead? What's your other condition? You can be afraid, guilty, hopeless, or insecure.
I'm going to feel guilty.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Oh, because you're making a bigger deal of her, and you know she's uncomfortable already.
Yeah.
Well, but look, I know she doesn't think it's good for her, but there goes the mic. I think it's good for her. And
Yeah.
I think eventually she'll get the hang of that. I feel a little guilty about it, but at the same time, I feel like I kind of know what's best for her. So yeah, I'm kind of putting the spotlight on her even more.
Totally.
Because I love her. She's,
So for a brief shining moment, everyone is focused on Hemlock and this little kid and his like Natural History Museum t-shirt, and something for once in a rare eon shines brighter than Scion's smile. And for just a second, I think maybe like Lex, you be the one that notices, for just a second, there's just like the smallest like a hint of like a frown just like at the edge of his mouth, where he's just like, he's got his perfect fake smile, he's just kind of like a little grimace, like everyone's not paying attention to him. And so when that happens, he basically like speaks up, and maybe like a little louder than he should. He's like, all right, well, that's all well and good, but well, there's other museums to save. Goodbye, citizens. And he like crouches down in his heroic like pose, and like he's got posters of him in this pose, like it's like I'm about to go do something heroic. So he like kneels down in kind of this intense pose.
Step on his cape.
Yeah, you can if you want.
Jesus.
Sure. Okay. I mean,
That
so
seems like a Riley move.
That seemed like a Riley move, but I hate him. Riley, step on his cape. Riley. Save me.
So here's the thing, right? If you step on his cape, basically what'll happen, he's gonna fly off and you'll probably like fall unless you use your powers to absorb some of the energy. Do you want to try to do that?
No.
I mean, you can roll. What's your freak at right now?
Like a kid who didn't get their
-2.
Yeah, your powers are a little.
I'm just gonna like shake my fist like angrily at him, like, oh my god, I like hate him so much.
I took a screen cap because I was watching this through the feed, that frown. So I took a screen cap of him and I wrote like, "You mad?" question mark, and I was tweeting it all over the internet.
Right, like slash
everywhere.
Yeah, /r/ Halcyon City drama.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And there's already comments on the thread trying to figure out what emotion he's feeling. And a lot of people are like, it's gas. He's gassy. Just yeah. And he flies off and leaves this like golden like trail of sparkles in the sky as he disappears. And his publicist looks at you, Hemlock, like, fuck with me. And yeah, she immediately is just like on her phone talking to somebody and like walks away.
What's like the perception of like what the crowd thinks of like how he's interacted with me? Like, what do they think?
They love him. They think he's amazing. And the fact that he deigned to share his golden aura with you for even a moment is just like so merciful and kind of him. And like, what a great guy. And I think immediately, like after he leaves, the fact that you like touched him and were like in his presence, a bunch of people come over to you and start asking you questions like, oh, who are you? Like now that he's gone, the photographers are like taking pictures of you and asking like, yeah, like literally like really uneducated, ignorant questions like, who are you? Where are you from? What's your superpower? What are you doing? Why do you know him? Like, yeah.
So as that happens, I immediately grab Riley with one arm and I grab Hemlock with the other and I kind of pull them in. And like Hemlock can hide her face if she wants, but I'm all for this because
You're the only one.
So
Yeah,
Lex,
I'm not for it.
Lex, on your news feeds, you're seeing these pictures of Hemlock starting to like pop up. A lot of them are like who dis, right? Like just pictures of her like just starting to fill the Halcyon City news feeds.
On all my Smurf accounts, I'm immediately like, yeah, I know her. Yeah, she's really cool. And I like take pictures of the scene there. And then I kind of start working like back towards the crowd too.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all the questions and everything, I just kind of give it like a brief spiel. I'm just like, you know, we're just a couple of young superheroes trying to make our way. We're just an awesome squad of 4 girls, and we don't really have a name, so we're gonna leave it up to you, the community, to name us.
Can I like get really like mortified at this point? And I'm like leaning into Riley, like, Riley, please take me out. Like, Riley, please.
I
like,
love
get
these
me out
girls.
of
They're
here.
great.
Like, I'm dying of like embarrassment, and I like am so worried about getting caught. So I'm like leaning over to Riley, like, Riley, just please like let's like sneak out of this. Like, let her handle it. Like, we have to like we gotta go.
Can we do that? Can we just like duck out?
Yeah.
She's like so caught
I'm
up
like waving my hands in the air. So yeah, you guys duck
and
out.
then we're just like, all right.
Yeah, I can't. I'm like too mortified. And then Lex is like telling us in our ears that like, hey, like there's these pictures of you, and I can't.
I'm really happy about it. I'm like, wow, Hemlock, this is so awesome for you. I'm so happy for you. Finally,
My mom's gonna find out, man.
Everyone thinks you're so cool.
Well, and like I don't really care about people like knowing who I am because like who cares about anyone, but I just am like annoyed at this more than anything. Like I just don't like talking to all these stupid people. So
Yeah.
we'll just get out of here.
I like it. So as as Petra kind of like buys you some space, you all slip away, and the sort of scene ends, and on the next page we see a newspaper, and the headline. So it's the Daily Trumpet, and there's a big black and white picture on the cover of the 3 of you, of Petra, Riley, and Hemlock. And then in the background, like sort of slightly out of focus, looking at her phone, we see Lex kind of like still in frame, like off in the background. And it says like Halcyon City's newest superheroes ? Who are these mysterious women? And then like way down on the side, there's a little panel, and it's the mayor. And he's got his little top hat and his mustache, and he's shaking hands with a reptiloid. and it's like mayor meets with reptiloid diplomats, and like there's this little article about him like trying to like make up for what happened. And when we turn the page, like we can see a hand, like manicured fingernails, like reaching into the frame. And when we turn the page, we can see Hemlock's mom holding the newspaper and scowling. And I think that's the end of issue 2. So we'll take a short break, and we'll
Damn it, Petra!
we'll take a short break, and we'll come back for issue 3
For your
of
own good.
RollPlay Masks when we get back. So stick around. More to come.